Hey all, Board Game Rants here. We'll find everything solo tabletop gaming and more. In this Expressive Gamer, I'm going to go over Renegade. I'm going to give you a quick little overview, so sort of quick, and then let you know what I think about this one on the other side. Here we go. Renegade. Are you feeling it? In the world of Renegade, your freedom-fighting hackers must save their fellow citizens by entering the supermassive computers, SMCs, that have risen to control the population. You see, this supermassive computer called Mother was created because we kind of lost faith in humanity. We're trying to figure out what's wrong with us. So, of course, AI on the rise. They use Mother, plug her into a city of souls in Sapporo, Japan. But a few of us were like, no, we got a bad feeling about this. Rather not. That's us renegades. And sure enough, as mothers, they always think they know best. Mother took over. And so, so us renegades, us hackers, are trying to break in and take down these SMCs. And that's what you have here. That's what this board represents. This board is actually was put together. These colors all represent a server, and you kind of get to build that server each game. So there's a lot of variation here, and really the rules are simple to building a server. You just gotta build it and so that you can read the numbers all the same. So for instance, this is upside down. You'll love how I just for the example of what not to do. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Oh man, I really screwed it all up there. No, I didn't screw it all up because I meant to do that. Okay, so you can see all the orientations just have to be correct, all the same, and then you have to, each time you add a board, and you'll do it one at a time, so the colors will come out different. And the colors they definitely matter because the colors have different themes to them. It depends on who you're playing. You can play different hackers as you're trying to hack into this network. You got Rupert Stands up here. Purple is kind of a cool color in that, it does its own thing, but it can be used as a wild for any of the other colors. And then you got, Monty Quantum and all that. These are all double-sided. These characters are double-sided, so you've got a lot of variability as far as what or who you're going to play as your hacker for the game. Each hacker comes with its own starting deck. And they're all a little different, as you can imagine. Red sort of specializes one more red card than everybody else, and so does green, and they're all, so there's some variation there in their starting decks. And so here with Tilda Sweet, she's got, and they all start with 15 cards. And this is a deck builder, so when you're playing, you're never going to have more than 15 cards in your deck. Every time you upgrade your starting deck, you're going to be going over here to the Hack Shack, and the Hack Shack is quite a stack of cards here. You're going to come out randomly, and these are just upgraded commands and whatnot that you can do, because you start off with pretty generic stuff here. Like my first starting hand of 5, we got data scan, interrupt, just single powers, if you will. And then, but as you upgrade your deck, you go over here and you start seeing you get cool little or execute, you get little actions you can do as well or instead on the bottom, all that text, and just stronger cards. So as you're going through the game, you're going to end up with an entirely different set of 15 cards. And these are bought basically by using the symbols. And these symbols are you can see up here, this one costs 2 green symbols. This one up here costs 2 blue symbols to purchase. And then you're going to basically trash a card as you add this one to your deck, maintaining that deck of 15. So here we are. This is the server. This is what we're trying to hack into, and we're playing, for instance, now we're playing Logi. Now Logi, some of these cards you'll see here don't come in the base game. I already did, couldn't help myself. I got the 2 little expansion packs, and so Logi is one of the SMCs that you can play against. You've got Mother, of course, here. Now Mother is represented by 5 skulls because she is tough. Oh, she is tough. And then you got Viking. That SMC is a 4 skull difficulty, all the way down here to Alpha Moby. He's the easiest one to kind of break into. And even up here, worth noting, you can start the game or first start learning the game with this simulator SMC. And I did, and I recommend it. Comes in handy to kind of get your feet wet, if you will. And then as you're playing the game and you're building up your deck to get stronger and stronger powers using the Hack Shack purchasing cards here, what you're going up against not only is the SMC. Now this SMC is going to have, each of them have little different things that they do according to those texts that you'll have to pay attention to. But in each game, you're going to play a series of cycles or rounds, however you want to think about them. And so what you have here, you're going to play a copper cycle, and then you're going to play, actually I can look over here. Here's the ones that I drew randomly from to create this game's cycle deck. And you got a stack of coppers here and silvers and golds, and you're going to play through a series of cycles, usually just a copper and a silver and a gold cycle. But in this case, Logie is telling me that I have to play through 1 copper, 2 silver cycles, and 1 gold cycle. And all you're really trying to do is survive. As you're trying to hack this computer, the countermeasures are coming. You know, Logie knows that she's going to throw everything at me and try and shut me down, try and crush me and get me out of this computer as I try to hack it. And all I got to do is try and survive these 4 cycles in this case. And if I can, as long as I don't lose, I win. So, of course. But how do you lose? Well, if you ever have to put any of these, so these are countermeasures. These are what Logie's going to use to try and shut me down. Going to send out sparks and flares, and then those can be upgraded depending on what happens into guardians and firewalls. And so, if ever I have to put a token out here and I can't because they're all gone, they're already all out on the board, and I'm supposed to put one out, you lose. So what I'm going to be doing is going out there and trying to contaminate this server. Sounds terrible, but we are contaminating. That's what us hackers do. You know, we got to, it sounds like we're the bad guy, but we're not the bad guy. So all these darker things out here. Now these were the setup. This is, I already put some sparks that are set up out here on the servers according to, excuse me, according to Logie and that individual setup style. I am blue, so I start off in my server on number 6, and I already have a little contaminant in my color, but there's already some sparks here trying to get in my way. Here's all the stack of contaminants. So ultimately, we're trying to spread contaminants out there and increase our grip as we hack, you know, the SMC. And the SMC is going to throw countermeasures at us and try and shut us down. And so that's the battle. And each one of these cycles actually has a little goal. So every time you play a cycle, you're playing a round, if you will, of typically 3 rounds, where you're going to draw 5 cards. If you have a starting deck of 15, you're going to draw 5 cards. And then you're going to play, and then you're going to draw another 5 cards, and then you're going to play, and then you can do that 3 times, of course. And there's going to be there's this handy dandy sequence of play here. Each time you go through a turn, you're going to go through these actions and replenish your hand, replenish the hack stack, and then new sparks are going to come out. You know, countermeasures are going to come out after each hand that you play, and then that's going to complete a cycle once you've done that 3 times. And then in each cycle, like this one, Clockwork Plague, this one is if I can complete this objective while surviving this cycle, then you as you move on to the next cycle, different things are going to happen. You get to, if you manage to succeed at this card, and you don't have to, you can score yourself later if you want. And also too, it does change the game, because if you succeed in that, there's a success thing that you get to do. And if you fail at the cycle, then different stuff happens, and it just gets tougher to survive future cycles. So that's a very cool thing that I enjoy, that, you know, you can pay attention to this or not, and you can score points or not by the end of the game. If you survive, you win, but if you also complete a lot of these cycles, then you're going to score victory points. So you can kind of determine the level of your victory, which I really enjoy. So out here, there's going to be a bunch of shifting things. It's fairly abstract. But you're going to be adding your contaminants. The countermeasures are going to be coming and shutting down those contaminants and back and forth, and you're going to move across the servers, trying to take over and hack successfully this SMC. All right, there we have it. This game. Oh man, it's delicious. It was designed by Richard Wilkins, who goes by Ricky Royal or Box of Delights on YouTube. Been watching him a long time because to me he's kind of the sole, not the sole, but the solo guy in tabletop gaming that has gone over a number of games that I've gone and picked up just because I've seen that he's played them and enjoyed them. And now he created his own game, published by Victory Point Games. And is that right? Yes. And from a thematic standpoint, it's you're hacking a computer. So it looked abstract. It is abstract, but so is hacking a computer. I mean, that's the theme. You know, you're in there typing away at a keyboard. I don't know. I'm not a big hacker. I don't know all the terminology. You probably got a good sense of that as I was explaining. Well, this is the blues and this is the yellows and these are the reds. But you know, you can see on here on each player's reference sheet. The reds are viruses and propagators, and the yellows are replicators and replicants. The greens are neural hubs and uplinks, and the blues are data nodes and data ports. And so, and then you got cognition, information, leadership, salvation, virtue, freedom. You can name all the servers. You can get into all that. And I've actually heard some reviewers say that that's a downside to the game. Not at all. Not for me. I mean, I know some of the terminology. And I think it's cool that it's there so you can really thematically get into it. You know, and all you need to know is that reds attack and blues move you around and greens push things around and allow you to ghost all over the place and in this virtual way move around on servers. And then yellows allow you to sort of convert the countermeasures into your contaminants. And it's fun too, kind of being the bad guy, you know, being the contaminator. You're trying to just flood this all the servers with your contaminants, and the countermeasures are trying to shut you down and destroy all your contaminants. And it's kind of fun being the bad guy. And so as long as you just stick with your colors, you're gonna be, I mean, that's all you really need to know is each color has a theme, and it just rolls. And mechanics wise, it's a deck building card, but you're picking up stuff and moving it around on the servers, and in that way sort of shutting things down and taking control and gaining majority in areas. And I've heard it called like what would you call this, pick up and deliver or something, you know, I guess. And so, and there's rules that you have to follow. You can only have so many colors per partition and stuff. And then the sparks, once you get 3 of those little countermeasures, the circle ones, the dark ones, they blow up into the bigger, badder square countermeasures. And so, you know, and even there, see, what do you call them? You got the sparks and the flares, and then you got the square countermeasures or guardians and firewalls. I just call them the dark circles and the dark squares and the... So I didn't have a problem at all with that. It's just I just want to play the game, and if you can remember all the terminology, great. But the mechanics are all there. They're all very solid with what you're purchasing cards from the Hack Shack, and you have to trash a card. So you always kind of keep you really get a sense. I mean, you immediately get to use the card, and they're much stronger. I mean, you can really quickly purchase cards and get stronger right away, but you're a little bit at the mercy of what comes out on the Hack Shack there, and that's fine. And then you got your objectives there, which add a nice flavor to each game because it gives you something to shoot for as you're trying to survive these cycles, and it's just great. That really adds to the variability with the board actually that you'll build. And I was showing this one that I purposefully put upside down. So in case you were wondering, this on the back side, you've got fragmented servers here that you can add to the variability of the game in that way, along with all of your different cycles that randomize everything, and the different SMCs you can play, and the different hackers you can play. Tremendous variability. And then if you're just playing one hacker, the length of the game for me is like about 45 minutes to an hour. It's perfect. I love that length. And it sets up and tears down very quickly. So I'd say all within an hour, you can safely play a game. And once you know it. Now the rule book is tough. I find myself, I've had to refer to it over and over again, less now that I've played, I've probably played around 10 games now. And But it is a little, I mean, it's kind of a logic written style rule book, which I guess makes sense. But it was tough to go through, and it's really I don't know if it could be done better, but as far as rule books go, it's one that I've had to revisit over and over again. Now pretty much everything's there. I haven't really had to look at a FAQ or anything. Only a couple times have I ever really gone onto Board Game Geek or something and looked up something, because it's really all there, but it's man, you got to read like the same thing 3 times before it really clicks, at least for this guy. And so from a solo perspective, which is what I do, this game's incredible. It's got everything that you'd want from a solo game. And it was designed by a guy who plays games solo. And he did, this is fantastic. But this is the beginning. I'll be picking up everything. Every little expansion pack for this and any other game Ricky Royal puts out. Count me in. And I'll also too, and I've heard complaints about the scoring type. A lot of people didn't like, well, I don't know if they didn't like it, but they're like, do you have to or whatever? I love the scoring. Not only do you want to just survive, but you can decide, you can, see, I fall victim sometimes to, on other games, if you beat a certain, in this case, an SMC or whatever it is you've set up the game to, if you just beat it and there's no scoring opportunity, then you kind of just never want to play that thing again, or that SMC in this case. Like if I beat Logie, I probably just wouldn't want to, survived the game. I probably just wouldn't want to, maybe I wouldn't be enticed to play again. But when you do the scoring, you realize, oh man, I won, but barely. The scoring was, I did terrible. I'd only completed 1 cycle successfully. It really adds to like, I know I can do better next time. And so you go after it. And so I love I like the fact that you can score. Not only do you just try to just win, but then as an option you can score. I'm always going to use that because I always want to kind of gauge how well I did. And overall enjoyability here is fantastic. This game is it's going to be a classic solo go-to for me. The box is awesome. Look at it. It's just it's a relatively tiny little box. It's not like a full size game, so it fits in a lot of different, just very portable. So this game is going to be a staple of mine in solo gaming, and I love it, and I can't wait for more. So until next time, I'm Board Game Rants, and until next time, wait, did I already say that? I'm Board Game Rants. Till next time, I'll see you later.